This is Sarah with RegisteredNurseRN.com, and in this video I want to go over 5 mistakes that new nursing graduates make. Mistake number 1, failing to think critically because you're focusing on the task at hand. And what happens a lot of times with new grads is that they're like, I have 12 hours to get this done, which to the common person that seems like a lot, but to nurses we know that that's not a lot because we're busy every second of that shift. And new grads tend to just concentrate too much of knocking those tasks out. They get a whole slew of doctor's orders and they just go and knock those out. They get all these medication orders, they just go and knock those out. Instead of asking, okay, why is the physician ordering all this? What's this new medication for that this physician just ordered? And questioning and critically thinking. Because as a nurse, this is what you do. We question, we think, because this is how we catch errors. This is how we monitor our patients. So let me give you a quick example. There was this new nurse I was working with, and they hadn't been out of orientation very long. And the physician comes up to the nurse's station, not in a very good mood, and says, "Who has this patient in room blah, blah, blah?" The nurse is like, "I do." And the physician was like, "Why in the world are you giving them a heparin drip along with a Lovenox injection? Those two do not go together because they're anticoagulants." And the new nurse really didn't know that. They were just following out the physician's order. And what had happened was that previous physician started the Lovenox but forgot to discontinue the heparin. So the new nurse wasn't really paying attention because they were just concentrating on getting the tasks done and not saying, okay, why am I giving a Lovenox injection whenever this patient is still on this heparin drip? So that's what I'm talking about. So as a nurse, even though you have these tasks to do, you have to ask yourself, okay, why are we doing this? What's the purpose for the patient? Because this is where you catch errors and you help protect your patient, because physicians do make errors and they forget to discontinue orders a lot of times. Mistake number 2, social media. And there's various ways that new graduates get in trouble with social media. Number 1, the most obvious that you guys are probably the most familiar with is, of course, they take pictures of themselves and post it on Instagram or Facebook revealing patient information or taking pictures of their patients or something like that that compromises patient privacy, because we know about those HIPAA laws and we don't need to expose our patients, talk about them, or anything like that. So many new grads have unfortunately made the mistake of doing that. In addition, while you're on the job, you want to majorly limit the amount of time that you spend on social media, because if you're working, something happens and they're going to investigate why this blunder happened, what was going on, and if they find out that you've been on your social media, say your Twitter, and you were doing 12 tweets every hour throughout your shift, that's going to look really bad. It's going to say that you were too busy on your social media to be providing patient care. So you definitely want to limit that. Mistake number 3, getting caught up in cliques or gossip or drama. And as a new graduate, you want to be friends with everyone and you don't want to show favoritism and you don't want to get caught up in the politics of your nursing unit. You want to remain neutral. So as a new grad, always try to take care to be nice with everyone and not try to get caught up in drama. For example, say that you are working and another nurse comes up to you and just starts like slandering another nurse behind their back. You don't want to participate in that. What you want to do is you want to just try to brush it off. Don't fuel that fire of that hatred that person has for that other person, and just try to find something else to do and just don't participate in it. Mistake number 4, not working on time management. Now, as a new nurse, you're going to have issues with time management at first. It's just natural because you're learning the shift and you're learning, I've got to get all this done in a certain amount of time. But some new graduates fail to really start working on it and knowing how to tackle it and how to get better, efficient with their time. And some things what you can do is, number 1, you got to make sure that you get a good report whenever you're getting that handoff, because you don't want to be blindsided by a test this patient's going to have, or they're going to be discharged and you didn't really know about it, so you didn't have all your paperwork together. And you want to make sure you know those right questions to ask during report. Number 2, you want to make sure that you're setting goals throughout your shift and saying, okay, by 10 o'clock I'm going to have this done. By 12 o'clock I should have this and this done. done, because that will help you make sure you cluster everything together so you can get out of there on time. Number 3, you want to make sure you know who you can go to for resources, because nursing is a team effort and you can't do everything all by yourself. So you need to know how to be efficient and resourceful, along with knowing exactly where supplies is located, making sure that you have supplies on hand before you know you have a new admission and things like that. And if you want some more in-depth details on how to work on your time management, I have a video that you can access to watch that. Mistake number 5, putting too much on your plate. You know, whenever you're a new nurse, you're excited. You've passed NCLEX and you are ready to work. You're ready to learn the ropes and make some money. And what I've seen a lot of times is that new nurses start signing up for way too many shifts and they start spreading themselves out thin. So they're working all these extra shifts where they're making more money, they get incentive pay, but they're also taking classes that their hospital's offering. And so they are stretched way too thin, and when you look at their schedule, they literally have like one day off. So they start to get burned out. They start getting tired. They're exhausted, and they don't have that zeal that they had whenever they first started. So whenever you are starting out, really give yourself time to learn the ropes and give yourself time off so you can recuperate, because it's really intense at first. You don't want to spread yourself thin. Okay, so those are 5 mistakes that you'll want to avoid as a new nurse graduate. Thank you so much for watching, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more videos.